What's up, guys? We are here with the second preseason hype team for 2016. In this team, we've tried to choose players that have been selected over 10% to have in your team. And since a lot of people have these guys, we explain why you guys should be selecting them as well. Scotty, who do you think out of this team really catches your eye?
For me, Andy, I reckon it'd be Jimmy Bartell. He's just a gun, and he's underpriced this year compared to what he was last year, and now he's got DPP in the defence. I reckon he'd get his average back up into the mid-90s and have a good season for everybody who picks him.
Yeah, he's currently sitting in my normal classic team, but does his age kind of scare you, Scott? Or
No, I don't think it does. He's a proven premium, and that's what I like about him. You know he's going to go out there and score you a decent score. And if he happens to have a bad game, it's a one-off, and then he's not going to do too many of them.
Yeah, I guess you're right. We have got Brodie Smith sitting in D3. I think his selection is it's 21.95%. What do you think about Brodie Smith? I know you got some pretty strong opinions about him.
Yeah, I do, Andy, that I do. To be honest, I don't really like him. I think with the inclusion of Seedsman into the Adelaide side, I reckon his role will be taken away from him by Seedsman, and I think he'll go back to what he did in his first couple of seasons at the Adelaide Crows, where he wasn't fantasy relevant. And so I think people who pick him might find that get a disappointing season from him.
Okay, and when I showed you that second hype team, you had a go at me for having Brent McCaffrey as our midfield number 7. He's got 6.7%. He's under 200k. Talk to me, Scott.
I don't like him, and I do not see the hype in him. I mean, he's Brent McCaffrey. Do people not understand how he scored the last couple of years? I mean,
hey, he's been tagging the last couple of years. You gotta give him a break.
He's been tagging, and what if he goes back to that tagging role this year after not playing at all last year? I mean, I reckon the most he'll average for you is 65.
That's true. And at the start of preseason, I didn't think we'd be having who we have as the midfield number 7. Anthony Morabito. I did not think in a million years I'd be starting with him. But I'll just run you through what he did in his debut year. It wasn't anything special. He got 56. In 2010 is when he debuted. And since then, he's only played 3 games. The coach says he's ready. His teammates said he's looking better than ever. Do we start with him? Is he actually a viable option, or is he just going to be the joke pick of 2016, Scott?
I believe he's a viable option for those who see him in their sides, but I think his role and I don't think he might get many games in this Fremantle side. I mean, it's hard to crack into that midfield with all those beasts, and with Bennell coming back, coming into the side especially. I think Morabito might find it hard to find his way into the best 22 every single week.
Yeah, he's not going to be posting big scores for you, but he may just be that heartbeat you need when one of your midfielders go down, which you can't cover. So, Matty Loby's in the team, 431k as ruck number 2, Scott, your favourite player.
Oh my God. Oh, jeez. It's same as McCaffrey here. I don't see the hype with Loby. Ryder's come out the side, and he's the sole ruckman now that Port haven't been able to secure Jamar. But I just think he's gotten too used to having to play with another ruckman in the team, and I reckon he's too far away from what he did in 2014. And now,
Scott, he averaged 89 in 2014, the year before Ryder came in.
Yeah, but you can give him that. I'll give him that. He did well that year. But now, for Port in the future, looking towards a premiership, he has to start to learn how to play with 2 ruckmen. And I think Dixon might play a bit more ruck role this year than everybody thinks he will.
Yeah, okay. All right. I don't agree, but that's fair. And I just want to talk about another player as our last forward who just got introduced to yesterday as added to the fantasy player as one of the Don's top-up players. Jonathan Simpkin is now sitting at a tasty 226k as a forward mid. How much value is that? He averaged over 100 plus in the last 3 years in the VFL. I reckon he's the he's almost the value pick of the year, I reckon.
Yeah, I agree
Uh,
with you there, Andy. I think he's a very good pick, and I reckon he could average high into those 70s for you. And anybody who has him will
he's
find that he's going to make a lot of cash.
he's just so safe, like everyone's jumping on the Ben Kennedy train. I reckon there's a new one leaving the station, and that is Jonathan Simkin. Um, we also have Harley Bennell sitting in our forward line. We spoke about him and the duties he may share with Morabito, or how he will affect Morabito anyway. Harley Bennell averaged 85, 85, 85 at the Gold Coast, and last year he upped that to 92. Do you reckon he's got any chance with the midfield stars like Fife, Barlow, Mundy? Has he got any chance of cracking that 100?
I reckon he does, Andy. I don't believe he'll play heaps of midfield time, but he'll definitely be in those rotations to get some midfield time. And when he's not, he'll be up forward doing what he did for Gold Coast, kicking plenty of goals. Which is very handy for your fantasy side. You got that forward who will kick goals for you and then go into the midfield and score your possessions. And I reckon he's a very good pick, but I reckon there are better options around his price, like Barlow perhaps.
Yeah, yep. And we'll give a couple more shout-outs to some players that have made our second preseason hype team. Reece Matheson. Today there was an article that he did very well in the intra club. So as a rookie at 158k, I reckon he's pretty much a lock now. And that is if he does well in the NAB Challenge as well. So we're going to keep an eye on him. Bryce Gibbs coming in at an 81 average. He averaged 101, I believe, only 2 years ago, if my facts are right. And I think he's going, what, Scott? 103 this year? New coach,
I can see him going into the 100 range, Andy. I believe he's going to average a similar score to what Mark Murphy will under a new coach and get up into those low 100s, and he's a bargain pick at 450k. I reckon he could do very well this season.
Yep. And the last player we'll talk about is Patrick Dangerfield. He's not in my normal team now. He's got... error, that's really fun. He's got 14% selection. What do you rate him this year as a pick? 589k. What do you reckon, Scott?
Yeah, I think he's a good pick. There are a lot of midfielders to choose around that area, but he would definitely be... I thought he would have been more of a pod, to be honest, this year, but if people seem to want to go with him, then I reckon it's not a bad option. He might get the tag, or he will get the tag most weeks.
But if you think about this, Scott,
but
I've been thinking about this.
Score quite a few high scores.
I've been thinking about this for quite some time. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Dangerfield's going to be tagged over Joel Selwood most weeks." He was the number one tag at Crows. Whenever he came across a tagging team, he was always the one being tagged. Let's say he's tagged most weeks at Geelong. Every week that he's not tagged is just an improvement from the Crows. So I reckon he's going to, even though I'm not speaking as an owner of Dangerfield, I still think he could at least score what he scored last year. Because
I think he can.
Yeah, he is used to a tag. Everyone's sort of talking to us like it's going to be new to him, but I don't think so. So I think we'll wrap it there.
Hold on, Andy. Hold on just a sec. I'd like to talk about one of Dangerfield's teammates in Mark Blitzarves.
Oh, no.
This guy is a gun, and I love him. Averaged 97, just over 97 last year, playing as that mid-ruck role, and I believe he will be able to go even bigger this year, reaching into that 100 average. What do you think, Andy?
Well, I did read an article that his coach, Chris Scott, not Brad, he did say that they have something rolled up their sleeves with what they're going to do with Blitzarves this year. I think that means that he's either going to be on the wing or a tagging role, which we did see early last season against Pendlebury, which he scored 127 points on. So if he can keep scoring that next year, then I'd have no problem with him tagging. He's obviously, it's been cemented, he's going to play a different role to last year. Whether he can maintain his average or even go higher, I'm not sure, but I don't think he'll go any lower next year. So yes, the Blitz, solid pick. I'm not 100% convinced to start with him in my team. But that was our second preseason hype team from the Fantasy Fortress. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm signing out, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Take care, guys.